You want to talk interesting about books and just kind of giving people that have are going to try this thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what
But
you've learned in your process.
the learning experience. First off, if anybody's out there that's working on a book right now and you're hearing or reading anywhere about, hey, you need to get established on social media, absolutely. Get the social media accounts going, get with them, start to learn things about TikTok, about LinkedIn, about Facebook, Instagram, and all the other social media platforms out there. There are just so many that you can do your own self promotion and self marketing and start learning how to do CapCut, which is actually free, but then there's several others that you can do that you can create some interest in what you've got going on by these little short, they look like commercials for promo. Get going on that early before you actually have your book to an editor or have your book in to a published, if you're going to self-publish, which is what I did, versus having Simon and Schuster publish your book. But get on out there. I don't care who you're going with. Just as far as publication, get that stuff started. Get used to it now. Start putting information out there, realizing that is where a lot of the people are going to learn about you and find things. Have all of those things, get your author website going and promote that so people can reach out to that, and you can put things on there like your videos that you're doing. Make sure you can have those added onto it. Have that so you can establish something for people to find out. Do they really want to learn about you? Do they really want to learn about your book? Because they don't have any interest, they're not. But if they don't have any place to look, they're not going to. And everybody's online today, everybody. So that's your first. Um, then it's a matter of you've got the book in hand and you're getting the book out there. Where you want to sell it. Now, there's lots of places. Amazon is the book place. Let's admit that. At the same time, there's a lot of other people between Walmart and Barnes and Noble. They online order books. They have stores that people walk in and can find the book. Those are out there. And then there are, as I call them, the mom and pop or small real retailer. Lots of people have a book retailer in their home community, in their town, in their county, in their city, a place they like to go. They grab a coffee there, they meet friends there, they can get on the internet there, but they also are shopping books and gift cards and things of that nature. Get established with them, fill out the paperwork they have, and start talking to them about being able to, one, have your book displayed in their store. And there's all
Right.
kind of agreements you can work out with them. I'm meeting a lot of consignment book places now.
Wow.
They're reaching out to me, and it's really a matter of how much they're wanting versus how much it's going to cost me to ship the books to them, as to if it's to my advantage or not. It's a lot easier for me if it's a place that is very close by versus me shipping it across the country, they getting 30%, and I've had to pay for the shipping, and I've already had the book shipped to my house. Now I got to pay that. Versus other retailers, if you're going through somebody like Ingram Spark or even with Amazon, you can arrange to have those books shipped directly to them, or they can do it when it's Ingram Spark. They can say, hey, I'm going to, they have an ISBN. They have this ASIN. We've assigned it. We are going to order up a dozen of their books. And it
Mm.
comes from, they get it at the retailer, the wholesale price from there, have it shipped to them. They pay the shipping, they have it, and it's available. Um, it,
Wow.
it's it's a lot to learn. It's a lot to take in, and eventually you start clicking with it. There's a lot of companies out there. You got bookshop.org, but then you've got Booksby or Booksby. They call it Booksby, but it's book.by, Booksby. A lot of those companies, and they are growing. They are trying to be competitive with Amazon. They're offering the author a little bit more money back on their book. They're also, instead of holding your royalties for 90 days, some of these companies are willing to give you your royalty immediately. Like so that's fast. Uh, and you want to have that ability to reach people across. See, I can't just sell my book right where I live. I got to sell it everywhere. I got to grow the interest. But what if I'm trying to get people in Europe interested? What if I'm trying to get people in Canada or Australia? Again, it's having that bigger market through something like Amazon. So it's a lot.
But see, you're smart to hit everywhere. But I think one
Yep.
of the biggest misconceptions is I don't want to go and sell my own book and then ship it or sell it out of my trunk or
Right.
sell it at an event.
Right.
That's the mistake authors make. They think
Right.
all I'm going to do is digital. And a lot of you're going to lose.
No.
You're going to
No.
lose big time.
I try to go and meet people, and I try to have books with me at all times. And that was something that Sherry told me. Sherry Clark, to hear that's on the podcast with you. Um, Sherry is my editor for folks that don't know, and that's how I met Neil. But Sherry said, "Always have books with you," and I've heard that from other people. And you sort of like, no, have the book with you, because people find out you have a book or you wrote a book, and they're like, well, how do I get it? Well, I've got one in the truck if you are interested. Oh gosh, yes. Well, please. And so I have literally left businesses, walked outside of my vehicle, gotten a book or two. I make sure I have the bookmarkers. I have my business card. I have the little stickers that come out that are part of my book. I get my good ink pen. I come back in and I autograph it to them. I'll personalize it to them. I always want to thank people for doing this. But it pays off well. And it's not because I'm making money. That's nice because it's helping me pay for the books. But they seem very content and very happy, and that they met somebody who wrote a book. And they're very excited about this moment, because the moment I mentioned it's a true crime memoir, I love true crime. I read this, what about like that? I said, well, it's a little of everything, and then I explained about it being kind of a ride along with me in my first 5 years of law enforcement. So we're going to go through everything from the State Police Academy to being a trooper making mistakes to high risk, high stake decision making, people dying and working undercover and the cases that involves and the people getting murdered. They're just like, I got to read this. I got to read this. And again, I'm flattered. But you got to have the books with you. Then you've got to be willing to do the shows. And I'll go anywhere. I told people, I said, I'll be more than glad. I'll bring a table. I'll sit under a tent, whatever you need me to do. And I've been booking a lot of those kind of things now. I've got several coming up here in the next couple of months that I'll be going to. Uh, there's a couple of places where I know there's going to be a lot of people coming out because they know me and they want to see me. Where places where I used to work. So I'm
Right.
scheduling a longer event so we can socialize for a moment and laugh a little bit. You know, Other places, if you just want me there for 30 minutes, then that's fine. If you want me there for a couple of hours, that's fine. Um, it's for me, it's easier if it's where I'm traveling to or driving. But I'm also 63, so I am able to go places as a retired person so much more than say somebody who's 30 and got to work a job every day. You're going to try to schedule those on your weekends or your evenings, or, when you've got time off. It's important to go out. People want to meet you. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's like amazing. I've had Uber drivers and I've had the young people behind the counter where I'm buying food at, and they're just all excited.
I love it. Yeah, because you're running into everybody and
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah.
about the book. And if you're selling something of your own, it's easy to sell. When you're
It is.
selling something it's not your own, it's difficult to sell
Yeah. Really. I
because
always
people, yeah, go ahead.
no. You speak.
No, I was saying it's easier to sell something that you already
Yeah.
it's yours, that you live it and breathe it, than
Yeah.
versus I'm selling something that I really don't believe in.
Yeah. And I believe in my book. I think I get that kind of a thing that comes around. At first you're kind of like, I don't know if anybody's ever going to want to read this. I don't know if they're going to like it. Once Sherry and I finished going through that first edit, it was like this huge relief of like, oh my goodness, my book is starting to shape up. It's like it's feeling more like a book. It's feeling more like a well-told story. By the time we finished the second editing and going through the process, it had more of a feel of just like, wow, this flows nicely. This is my words are there, and where I might get really, really wordy for like 3 paragraphs, and she's found a way to get that down to 2 sentences, which like, and people ask me, and I'll say, no, 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 my editor makes me sound brilliant. She really did. And at the same time, she used my words, and she just found a way to make it more smooth for the reader. And that whole consistency goes throughout the book. And that's a process of when you're going to shop an editor, really pay attention and shop your editor. I narrowed it down to 3. I had a lot of people throwing services at me. I had a lot of people offering me, hey, let Chat GPT or somebody do it for you. And whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want AI involved in my book right now. This is me, my writing, my words. I kind of need that human touch on this one here.
Right.
Sherry
And
and I
and that's gonna
clicked.
be interesting to
Yeah,
see always how I hope that editors start to utilize AI to even become more efficient in what they do
right.
and be able to use their secret sauce versus a lot of nitpicking stuff. So there's
Yeah,
so many tools out there
yeah,
to improve editing down the line. Everything is just
yeah,
going 100 miles an hour and
yeah.
running in the
Right,
marketing media
right,
world.
right. Well, I see like AI is probably something people can use to a point to maybe refine some of what they've got.
Hmm.
But it can't tell the story for you because it might start pulling from somebody else's story, and then you're really kind of running on the line of plagiarizing something. However, to get the refinement down, to get it a little bit better, a little bit more organized, to get it more neat, and more suggestions as to, hey, maybe that chapter should come later, or maybe you should maybe consider taking it out, or you need to expand on it. If AI gives you that, that's great. The next thing is going to be, though, is that human set of eyes, that editor that walks you through, line editing, developmental editing, copy editing, those processes, getting that and making everything fit from the front cover to the back cover to the side spine on the book, those
Everywhere
things.
and anywhere. Yeah.
Sherry put her eyeballs on that. I
No.
put my
Yeah.
eyeballs on it. And it was great because I could actually look at something and I saw big picture. And in looking at big picture, I said, "Oh, that looks great. It looks great to me," and stuff, because I was just so enamored. And Sherry would come back and go, "No, no, this is what's got to change. This has got to move here. This has got to go there." That's her experience of doing like 600 books now in her career, either her own books, other people's books. That process, she is looking. She's got that fine, skill on it, the fine
Oh
tuning on
yeah.
it, and that matters. The other thing, though, like I said, is as you get into that and you start feeling your book, you start realizing this is a good story. This is a good book. This has got a place out there. Um, you know, are you going to fit every reader? No, but then there's a lot of genres that I don't read. And then there's other genres I love. I mean, when people ask me, I like historical nonfiction, and I like historical fiction too, because I like going back in time and reading historical. My favorite book is called The Woman of No Importance, about Virginia Hall's life. Fantastic book, but it's not for everybody. But I think it's a story everybody should know. Uh, but it's in no way in line with my own story.
Right.
Uh, yeah. So like I
So
said, I
that's so
handle.
that's where the whole thing meets. But it seems like you figured out this a lot of ways. You see
Yeah,
content as king. You
yeah,
see the post as much as you can. You
yeah.
see the power, but really that doesn't lead to the sales.
Right.
It leads you to sales is getting to where it works the best. And that means networking.
Mm-hmm.
That means showing up places and being there, and
Right.
people will buy your book and have a network of people. And you
Yeah.
had a network of people. Explain the importance of reaching out to that network of people and let them know I wrote a book.
I wrote a book. I did a book. I got it done. It's finished. Here it is. I've got something, People ask me like these things that are in the background and all. I had the QR code, I was like, okay, if hey, give me a QR code for this. Okay, that's my thing. And all right, that's the back cover of the book, and then above that is the actual front cover. I ran down to the UPS store and I said, how much to print these out to fit, like an 11 by 14 frame or whatever. I think these are actually 11 by 17s. And they come back and the price is like $1.20. And I was like, okay, for $1.25, I bought the frame at the Dollar Tree. And for $1.20, they print out a colorful, really nice, piece of, they use that extra thick paper to put that in there, and I frame it, and I'm able to take that with me someplace and show it. My husband and I, we like to do car shows every once in a while, and when we go to the car shows, I put those in there, and I have a few books with me just in case, because if somebody wants to buy a book from me, they've read that and they go, "Do you have one of those with you, or how can I get in touch with you on that?" I want to have a book with me, but if I've somehow or another sold out of the handful I brought, they've got that QR code. They can find me. And you'd be amazed if somebody that my Uber driver got my book when they brought me back from the train station here when I went up to Connecticut to see Ian Bick.
Right.
The Uber driver, she drove me back home. So she in the car.
Yeah, but you have such an intriguing
hour.
story.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you could get into every
she's buying
police
it.
academy,
Yeah.
there's so many more places for you to go. Pick my brain, but you still have, this is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Now I can hold things up. This is one of your biggest assets. You have 1,000 leads in here.
Yes.
If you don't want to go out and write a book and promote it, you don't want to promote a business, don't do a business, don't do a book.
That's
Because
true.
it's all about promotion.
It really is.
And the real is you just have to be out there.
Yeah.
You don't have to promote your business if you know how to bring them in, because they want to know, like, and trust you, and your content is king. All right.
Right.
Best place is JenniferClarkSQ.com.
Yes.
And appreciate it, Jennifer. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thanks a lot.